Well, happy Saturday to everybody. Hope you are doing well on this Saturday, first day of August. Of course, in the 1979 world, we're in August the 4th. That was the first Saturday in August. And I'm trying to get this thing lined up the best I can. And I think that's the best I'm going to get to do with it. Try to get what I want on here. I am able to show the lineups here in case you're curious. And we are at Metropolitan Stadium in Minnesota for the game between the Angels and the Twins. Starting pitchers Dave Frost for the Twins. I'm sorry, for the Angels, and Dave Goltz for the Twins. Starting lineups. You can see them here in the corner. I'll bring them up a little bit closer. Nothing dramatic here. Rick Miller in center, Connie Lansford at third, Ford in right, Baylor at DH, Akins the first baseman, Downing the catcher, Rudy in left, Rich at second, and Campaneris at short for the Angels, who come into the game 69 and 40 based on the Action PC simming. And then for the Twins, who come in 59 and 46, it's Hoskin Powell in right, Rob Wilfong at second, Ken Landreau in center, Danny Goodwin at DH, Ron Jackson at first, Glenn Adams in left, Roy Smalley shortstop, Butch Weiniger catcher, and John Castino at third base. And as we get to the point where we're going to need pinch hitters or relief pitchers, I will show them as well. Got our dice here. And because of these bigger dice and the D20, I'm going to roll the D20 separately into this small little chute of a dice tray that I have. So again, trying to make sure everything, I think it's the best I can do with it. If I get any closer, probably going to lose some peripherals here. So I think I'm just going to have to leave it at this, and hopefully that works. Good afternoon, Kenyon, Midlife, and Brian B. Good to see all of you. So Dave Goltz will be the one on the mound. And we will put Metropolitan Stadium. Well, I'll just put stadium into view when it's needed. How about that? We don't need to see it right now. If we don't, until we get a ballpark check, we really don't need to look at it, but we can look at it and see effective walks. We subtract 1. So that's the biggest factor there. Again, this game was played August the 4th. California won this game real world 7-1. And leading things off is center fielder Rick Miller. And again, I don't play this game. This is the only day of the week I play this game. So in the future, once the Rockies replay is done, I might dive more into inside pitch and maybe do a single team replay or something to that effect to try to get more practice at it and get back to my skills. But when you only play a game once a week, little idiosyncrasies you may miss, so hopefully I won't, but you never know. And if you want to get a sneak preview of the upcoming games, this is the rest of the schedule up through September the 15th. Next week we'll be in Philadelphia for the Pirates and the Phillies. Then we have the Braves Expos, Red Sox Royals, Royals Yankees, Red Sox Orioles, and Cincinnati Dodgers. Those are the next games that will take us all the way up through mid-September. So in case you're curious as to, and these are the games that NBC actually showed. So that's what I'm playing. Whether it's a good game or not, they showed it, so we're playing it. All right, here we go. Rick Miller, Goltz, 5-5 for Goltz. And Goltz is a possible error on a throw. So we go to Rick Miller. That's a 5-3. It's a ground ball to first. So the first baseman will have to throw it to the pitcher covering. So the first baseman, Ron Jackson. Potential error on Ron Jackson. So we go to Ron Jackson's error rating at first base, and he's an error rating of 3. So if we roll the D20, if we get a 1, 2, or 3, it'll be a throwing error. Any other result, the play will be made. We get an 18, so there's no throwing error. That will be a 3-1 ground out to start the ball game, and Rick Miller is out of there. Brings up third baseman Carney Lansford. I agree, Villain. That's why I switched over from Fall Classic to this. I mean, Fall Classic is okay, but that one game, I just rolled double after double after double, and it didn't matter who the pitcher was. He was getting chilled because of the doubles. So I just couldn't take that any longer. We get to a breaking point after a while. Now, I may very well revisit Fall Classic at some other time, just not right now. Not the right time, not the right place. Where's Carney Lansford? 1-4 on Goltz is a pitcher result, and against a righter, 1-17 is going to be a single. And that's a 16. So Carney Lansford, a 1-out single. Goltz has a 0 on its holding the runner, so his attempt is a 3. Doesn't get the attempt to lead or to get a good lead, so he will hold. Here's Disco Dan Ford. Looking on Goltz, we get a 1-5. That's a possible error. Go to Ford. 4-3. That's a ground ball to second. So now we're checking the second baseman. In this case, that is Rob Wilfong. We're going to check his error rating, which is a 6. So we're going to roll and see if there's a possible error there, or there is an error. 1-6. There's not. So that means now we need to check for a double play. Ford is a 2. Pitcher doesn't add anything. They were halfway. That makes them a 3. Then we need the pivot of Roy Smalley. And Roy Smalley's pivot is a +1. So that makes double play number 1 to 4 to be an inning-ending double play. And it is, and that's it. 4-6-3. That's actually a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play to end Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in that area and have tailor needs, be sure to stop by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made play of the game, or play the game. So now Dave Frost is going to be out there for the Angels. He was a 16-game winner. Dave Goltz was 14-13, and Frost is 16-10. And first guy up to face him is Hoskin Powell, the right fielder. Get a 4-6, and that's a potential hit by pitch. Hit by pitch chance for Powell is a 6. Frost doesn't change that. So 1-6, and Powell gets plunked. And he does. So Hoskin Powell hit with the pitch right off the bat. And the Twins have their leadoff man on. His attempt is a 1. Frost doesn't change that. So a 1, he gets a good lead. It's a 2, so hit and run is possible or whatever, but I'm just going to go ahead and just go with Wilfong's at bat. Frost to Wilfong, 1-2. We're at the ballpark card. So we're going to bring Metropolitan Stadium into play on that ballpark check. Get a 3-1. It's a ground ball in front of the plate. G2. So G2, that means it's going to be handled by the catcher, Brian Downing. So the double play rating on Wilfong is a 1. The pitcher adds 1 to make it a 2. They're halfway, makes it a 3. The pivot would be the shortstop because a left-hander is batting. That makes it shortstop Campaneris is a +1, makes it a 4. So 1-4, we have a double play. And we do not. It's going to be a fielder's choice. They'll get the runner at second base on the G2. So fielder's choice is going to go 2-6 for out number 1. New runner is Wilfong. And that's not going to happen there. It's a tribute game. Did he recently pass away, Hoskin Powell? I wasn't aware of that, but very well could have happened, I guess. All right, here is Frost to Landro. 5-3, and that's a ballpark card. So we're going right back to Metropolitan Stadium. And we get a 1-6. That's a triple. Are you kidding me? A straight out triple. A straight out triple on a ballpark card, an inside pitch. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Usually the triples come from up here. This is a straight triple. A straight out triple. Ken Landreau. RBI triple off the ball. I guess Metropolitan Stadium must have had some cavernous alleys to cause the triples. I assume the ballpark, the numbers on the ballpark just support that. I'm assuming it does. So anyway, triple for Landreau. That's interesting. Hello there, Philip. Good to see you. I'm doing well. All right, so now with one out, the infield is going to play in for Danny Goodwin. Goodwin is the designated hitter. Frost 5-3. That's a ballpark card again. But we're just hitting Metropolitan Stadium left and right. That's a 6-1. That's a single to center. And that's going to bring home Landreau. 2-0 Twins. They've already scored more runs in this game. They scored real world. 2-0. Goodwin has no attempt to steal. We will roll in case check for pickoff, and there is none. So here's Ron Jackson. 5-5 is a blank. We go to Jackson. 4-6. That's a fly to center. 2 down. And again, if you see me doing something incorrectly by the rules, let me know so I can correct it, because this is a game I don't play very much. So when you visit it once a week, it's kind of hard, to keep up with all the rules. And that's a 20. So now we're checking for a pickoff. A 1-2, and Goodwin gets picked off. He does not. So here is Frost to Glenn Adams. And unfortunately, Glenn, one of the dings I had in inside pitch and still have is the fact that he's got 326 at bats, but he's still a cookie cutter card, not rated versus lefties. So you can use him against lefties with no penalty. 3-1, and that is a strikeout chance for Frost. He's a 6. Stadium doesn't change it. And that's a strikeout to end the inning. As Frost gets Adams for his first strikeout. But at the end of one inning to play, it is Minnesota 2 and California nothing here at Metropolitan Stadium. And hello, RJL. RJL, I was just mentioning this. I don't know if you saw this when it happened. It's one of the first time I've seen a ballpark that has straight up triple in the grid. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Usually triples come from up here, but this has we just rolled a straight 1-6, straight triple on the stadium card. Maybe it has it for the Astrodome, but I just didn't think it would happen with Minnesota, but that's the way they rated it. So I'm assuming Chris has data that supports that. That's what I'm going to go with. I trust his rating on that. All right, here is Don Baylor, designated hitter. That's a 5-5, and that is a possible error on a throw. 6-5, it's a single to center field, so there's nobody to throw to. There's no throw to be made, so no error. Single by Baylor. I guess it had to be a lot of triples there. I don't know this, what do you call it? The sabermetrics on it, or whatever they call it. All right, Baylor has an attempt of 4. Can't get the good lead. He'll hold. Here's Willie Aikens, or Willie Mays Aikens, if you will. 2-3 is a blank. We go to Aikens. 3-4. 3-4 is a line out to first. It's a possible double play. And with the runner at first, it very well may happen. Let's see if they double up Baylor on a, wrong side of the sheet here. On a line drive to first base with a runner at first, it's a 1-4. 1-4, and the runner is doubled off. And he is. So Baylor is out of there. He gets doubled off for a 3 unassisted double play turned by Ron Jackson. So 2 quick outs. And that'll bring up the catcher, Brian Downing. 1-1 is a strikeout chance. Downing has a strikeout rating of 8. And he will be struck out. And that will end the inning. First strikeout for Goltz. We go to the Bottom of the second, still 2-0 favor of the Twins. It'll be Smalley, Weiniger, and Castino due up for the Twins. Roy Smalley, 271 average on the replay. I agree, Midlife. I definitely agree. All right. But I mean, I'm going to treat it as if he's totally inept against lefties. So if they bring in a lefty reliever, he's coming out of the game. That's just the way it's going to be played. All right, here's Frost 1-4. That's a strikeout chance. And strikeout chance is a 10. And he will strike him out. There are so many positives to this game, though, that you're going to find a nitpick here and there. So my only two nitpicks in the game is the cookie cutter card and the fact that players are only carded on one team. So if they're traded, you get guys in different uniforms. It just looks kind of wonky to me. So, hello, Canadian. Good to see you. So here is Butch Weiniger. Frost to Weiniger, 3-4. That's a blank. Go to Weiniger, 2-4. Star 3 is a ground ball to third. And there's 2 away. But I did think enough about the game, obviously, to bring it back and replace Fall Classic with this. So not that I don't like Fall Classic. They're both good games. I just wasn't feeling it at the time, so I decided a change was needed, and that's what I did. And here's David Frost, 6-5. That's a strikeout chance, and Castino's a 16, and that's an 11. Struck him out. Third strikeout for Mr. Frost, but he's down 2-0 as we go to the third. That may be true, RJL, but I don't feel like investing another few $100 to play seasons I already own. I'm sticking with what I got. All right, so here is Joe Rudy. (2-4), and that's a walk chance against Colts. He walks at an 8, but the stadium does take away 1. Remember, the stadium takes away 1 of the walks, so it's a 1-7. He will not walk, so Rudy will bat. 5-1 to fly to right field. 1 away as that's hauled in out there by Powell. 1 down for Bobby Grich, second baseman. 3-3, it's a strikeout chance. His chance to strike out is a 10. And he is out on strikes. 2 down for Campaneris. And actually, when I was preparing this game, I had to go to Texas team roster and get Campaneris off of Texas. That's where he started the season. It would have been nice to have a Campaneris card for Texas and a Campaneris card for California. That would have been nice. Can't have everything. As Al Wilson said one time, you can't have everything. If you had everything, what would you do with it? So here's Goltz, 6-1, strikeout chance, 1-9. And no strikeout. Campaneris will swing it, 5-5, and that's a fly to center to end the inning. And that example and that at bat right there is a situation where this game has it over Strat-O-Matic, because if the strikeout comes on the pitcher card in Strat-O-Matic, the guy is struck out no matter who he is. Here he has a pretty good chance to fend off the strikeout by being a contact hitter. So somebody like a Wade Boggs or whatever is not going to strike out very much because they get to fend off the strikeout by their own card. Whereas in Strat, in the 50-50 model, the pitcher gets a strikeout, you're screwed no matter who you are. So, there's good and bad on both sides, as they say. Good and bad on both sides. No, if it was, it'd be a monopoly and everybody play it and nobody play anything else. So. All right, here is Hoskin Powell. 2-3, that's a blank. 1-4, pops to short. And Mr. Campaneris will make that play, 1 away. For Rob Wilfong. 4-4, that's a blank. 1-6, flies to right. And that is hauled in out there by Mr. Disco Dan Ford. 2 down for Ken Landro. 2-4. And that is against a lefty. That's an automatic out. So the automatic out will be a fly to right. So 3 flyouts, or 2 flyouts. Pop out to short and 2 flyouts. Quick inning from Mr. Frost. And at the end of 3, it's 2-0 still, favor of the Twins. So Goltz is back out, and he'll be facing Rick Miller, top of the order basically. Rick Miller, because of 2 double plays, he's faced the minimum. So it'll be Miller, Lansford, and Ford due up. 5-6. That's a hit by pitch chance. He's only a 2 though, and he's a -8, so that eliminates that possibility altogether. Miller 1-2, and against a right-hander, that's a double to left field. So you can see there, Rick Miller with the split on that 1-2 against a righty, that's a double to left. Against a lefty, he flies to left. But Rick Miller will get himself a double. Leadoff double to start the 4th. And that will bring up Carney Lansford. Nothing on the strategy roll. We go to Goltz. 6-5. That's a possible error on a ground ball. Lansford 2-4. That is a star 5. And that is a ground ball to second, so it is a possible error. Second baseman is Rob Wilfong. So if we look at Wilfong, again, his error rating is a 6. And he will make the error. So Miller will go to second, or go to third, rather, and Lansford will reach on the E4 by Rob Wilfong. So runners on the corners, nobody out. And that'll send up Disco Dan Ford. Nothing on the strategy. 1-5 is a possible error. Sorry about that. There's no mute button on this lavalier mic, unfortunately. 1-5 is a power result to left field. So we actually have 2 checks to make. First is the power result to left, and then the error to resolve it. So the power result to left for Dan Ford against a right-handed pitcher, we go up to 14 on the D20 to see what happens. It's a 3, so it'll be a single to left. We're going to check the left fielder to see if there's an error. Left fielder is Glenn Adams. Glenn Adams is a 9 error rating in left field. Now, if he makes the error, he does not. It'll just be a straight out single to left. To go from, well, runner on third is going to score, obviously, but go from first to third, you lose 2 on your run rating. So he would drop to a 2. And I believe Adams' arm is a 0. It is. So a 1-2, and he takes third base. He does not. He will stop at second. But it is an RBI single for Don Baylor. I'm sorry, for Disco Dan, rather. It was Disco Dan batting. I got my cards mixed up here. Again, not used to this setup. It's once a week kind of thing, so it's not something I'm used to. But an RBI single from Disco Dan cuts the lead to 2-1. Still nobody out for Don Baylor. First and second, nobody out. And that'll bring up Goltz's pitch. 1-2 is a blank. We go to Baylor. 3-6. It's a fly to left. That's 1 away. Let's see if the runner can tag. On a fly to left, though, you lose 3 trying to go from second to third. It is a -3. And the arm is a 0, so he needs a 1 to get to third base. And he won't get it, so he'll hold. So 1 down. Baylor is, here is Willie Aikens. Goltz 3-5, and that is going to be a blank. Against a righty, that would be a single, but against a lefty, it's a blank. So we go to Aikens. 6-3 for Aikens. And that is a fly ball to left field. That is another situation. where we have a split on the 3-6, and that is on the 6-3, and that is a fly to left instead of a double. So it's a fly to left, and again, same situation. He has to have a 1 to move up. He does not, so he'll hold again at second base, and it's up to Brian Downey now. Clutch situation. Of course, this game doesn't have per se the clutch ratings, but that's okay. Not every game does. Not every game needs it. Here's Goltz, 6-6. That's a strikeout chance. Downing strikes out 1-8, and he is going to strike out, and that's going to do it. So actually, Goltz, the error kind of cost him a run, but other than that, he saved what could have been a multiple run inning and cut it to 1. That run is unearned, I believe, or is it? I believe it is, because he would not have scored without that error. So the single would have only gotten him at best to third base, and then the outs would have taken care of that. So I believe that's considered an unearned run. So now we go to the bottom of the fourth with a 2-1 ball game. Frost back out, and he'll be facing Danny Goodwin. One thing I really like about this game is the pitcher fatigue. It gives you a set number, so you're not having to do any weird calculations. All you got to know is how many batters has he faced. And this gives you a pull rating if you want to play by the rule of the pull rating. Once he allows hits, walks, and runs that total this amount, you pull him. Simple as that. Or if he's pitching well, then once he hits this number right here, that's when you start looking at the fatigue. And even so, even if he's fatigued, he can still pitch. So there's only a couple of areas that it's going to cost him. You know, he could very well pitch another inning or so. His fatigue can still be okay. He doesn't get, wiped out like you do in some games. All right, here's Danny Goodwin. He'll be facing Frost. 3-5, and that's a walk. 10 to good. 10, it becomes a 17, but the stadium is a -1 for a 16. But he's still going to walk because of that plus. So Danny Goodwin with the leadoff walk. He's no threat to run. That's on a strategy. Here's Ron Jackson. 6-4, and that's a blank. It would have been a home run against a lefty batter, but a righty is a blank. So we'll go to Jackson. 1-6, that's a single to left field. Let's see if Goodwin can make third. It's highly doubtful. Single to left, you lose to. That drops him to a 0. So right there, can't do it. Rudy is a +1 arm, but I kind of use RJL's thinking that if the runner goes down to 0, regardless of what the outfielder arm is, you pretty much hold him there. Treat it as a 0, so that's what I'm doing. It is a base hit, and runners are at first and second with nobody out for Glenn Adams. Hello, Triple G. Triple G, good to see you. All right, Dave Frost to Glenn Adams. 1-3, and that's a possible error. Fly to center, so Stout Rick Miller has a very high error rating. His error rating is a 2. So the only way he makes an error is on a 1, because you can't have an error on an even number. So he will not make, I'm sorry, it should be on this way. Nope. No error, just a fly to center. And Goodwin, I don't think he's going to be able to make it. Let's see. The tag up, the fly to center, you lose to it, drops him to the 0 again. So, but a +1 arm from Miller, he needs a 1. Didn't get it, so he'll hold. And now that brings up Roy Smalley. 6-1 is a blank. And Smalley. 3-1, star 3. Ground ball to third. This is a possible double play, but we have to see where the ball is hit. On a ground ball to third, you roll another D6 to find out where the ball was hit. You get a 6. So on a 6, it says in the hole. Double play chance will go second to first. So that means the third baseman has gone towards the shortstop to make the play. So we're looking at third baseman Lansford, see if he can make this play on a double play chance. Smalley's double play rating is a 2. Frost adds 1, makes him a 3. The infield's halfway, makes it a 4. Second, Bobby Grich is a +1 on his pivot, makes it a 5. So 1 to 5, we got a double play. And we do. So it's a 5-4-3 around the horn double play to end the inning. And that will do it for the Twins. Pitcher's best friend just showed up to take care of things. 5-4-3 double play, otherwise known as around the horn. So we go to the 5th inning with 2-1. Twins over the Angels. Next week, of course, will be at the Vet in Philadelphia for the Pirates and the Phillies, the Battle of Pennsylvania. That'll be next Saturday. And there'll be no DH, so I'll be able to do double switches and all kind of good stuff that RJL will drive RJL crazy. All right, here is Joe Rudy to lead things off. Tutti Frutti O Rudy. 4-2. That's a wild. I'm sorry, 4-2 is a range play at the park. So we're going to Metropolitan Stadium for a range play. 2-6. It's a ground ball to second. We're checking the range of Mr. Wilfong. His range is a 4. 1 to 4, he makes the play. And he does. So Rudy is out of there. 4-3 on the ground out for Bobby Grich. 1-6 strikeout chance. He's a 10. But 16 says no. Go to Grich. 2-6. He grounds it to short instead. That's out number 2. And no matter what you think of the statistical accuracy of this game and how certain things are rated or whatever, you can't deny the fun factor. I will have to admit it is a fun game to play. Just something about it that's very unique, and the fun factor is definitely there. All right, so here is Burke Camp, and I think that's why I switched, because the Fall Classic one, just the fun factor wasn't there for me. Maybe it'll come back later, but at this point in time, the fun factor was just not there. 6-6, that's a strikeout chance. He's a 9, and he will not strike out, so Campaneris will swing it. 3-6, it's a single to center field for Campaneris. I agree, RJL. If it's not fun, why even bother playing? So Campaneris gets the single. His attempt is a 5. Can't get the lead, so he'll hold. And here is Rick Miller, leadoff man. 5-6, that's a strikeout chance. I'm sorry, 5-6, a hit by pitch chance. He's a 2, but the -8 takes that away. Go to Miller, 2-5. He's going to single past second. Let's see, Campaneris runs at a 3, but with 2 outs, he's a 4. So in an S4 to get from first to third, all you need is a 3 or better. Campaneris has that. He goes to third. Miller goes to first. And there are runners on the corners with 2 outs. And I also think this board is tailor-made, pardon the pun of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop, but it's tailor-made for inside pitch. Just to try to play any other game on this board just doesn't look right. I know sometimes try to play payoff pitch on it or season ticket on it or something, or Fall Classic on it. It just doesn't look right. This board is, to me, is synonymous with inside pitch. You may disagree, but that's just my philosophy on that. All right, here is Coney Lansford. 2-3 is a blank. We go to Lansford. 6-5, ground ball to third, and that'll do it. So they leave 2 on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 2-1. Favor of the home team. Frost back out, and he'll be facing Weiniger, Castino, and Hoskin Powell to start us off. All right, here is Frost. And I still can't believe RJL has not done a 1986 full season replay in some form or fashion, some game, whether it be Strat, inside pitch, or whatever, Fall Classic, whatever the case may be. I think RGL, if he was doing just a one-team replay and focusing on the one team, I think he would play it close to what they did in real world and try not to overuse their. And if he puts it in Action PC to keep the stats, Action PC will tell you if if a guy's getting a little tired or whatever. All right, so here is Weiniger. 6-1 to blank. We go to Weiniger. 2-3. It's a ground ball to third, one away. And that'll bring up John Castino. 6-6. That's a walk chance. He walks at a 10, but Stadium takes one away, so it's a 9. And that's going to fail. So we go to Castino. 2-4, and that's a power result to right field. So Castino, a power result to right field on the 2-4. So against a right-hander, he's going to get a hit unless we get a 19 or 20, just no matter what kind of hit it is. We get a 19. How about that? He just missed it. He had a hit all the way up to 18, but we roll a 19, which means it's just a long fly ball to right field for out number 2. So kind of a bad break there by Castino. You would have thought he would have done something with that, but the evil D20 took care of that. So here is Hoskin Powell, 2-2. That's a range play. 4-2, fly to center field. We're checking the range of the center fielder, Rick Miller. And Rick Miller's range is a 4. 1-4, he'll get to this, and the inning's over. And he does. So Hoskin Powell will fly out to Miller to end the inning. And we're still nip and tuck here, 2-1 after 5. And Disco Dan Ford will lead off for the Angels. He'll be followed by Baylor and Akins. Top of the 5th, 2-1. 4-1. And that is going to be a wild pitch. And I'll ask you this, RJL, since you're here. I think, if I remember correctly, when the game first came out, and you rolled a wild pitch and nobody was on base, you re-roll in the pitcher card. But I think the secondary rules came out and said you just treat it as a blank nowadays. So does that sound more accurate to treat this as a blank and just roll in the batter card next? That's the way I've been playing it anyway. So I'm hoping that's right. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, here's Disco Dan. 5-6. It's a star 2, ground ball to third. And that's handled over there by Castino for one away. And that will bring up Don Baylor. And a couple people have asked in the past about this board. I got it off eBay a couple years ago. Used version, wasn't in very good shape. But this is the actual board, and the tape kind of took some of the thing off here, but that's the game. It's called Baseball Card All-Star Game. And if you can find it on eBay, good luck. It's hard to find, is what I'll say. And you can see right here, it comes with the little holders. That's what RJL uses to keep his cards in line. It comes with some sort of stadium thing too, I guess, in here, but I've never really messed with that part. But that's where this comes from, in case people were curious where this board comes from. Of course, RJL got fancy and sent a picture of this board off to Ink Gaming, so he's got a nice mouse paddy, cushiony kind of board. I've got the old-fashioned wooden board, which kind of has seen better days, I guess. But I don't use it that often, so it works for me. Here's Don Baylor, Galtz to Baylor. 3-4, and that's the ballpark card going right back to Metropolitan Stadium. 4-3, and that is a fly to center, so out number 2. As Landro put it away, 2 down for Willie Akins. 5-1, that's going right back to the ballpark card again. 2-6, it's a ground ball to second, and that'll take care of it. Wilfong throws him out. 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Galtz. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, still 2-1. Favor of the Twins. Due up from Minnesota, it is 3 left-handed hitters: Wilfong, Landreau, and Goodwin. And of course, here's another case where Rob Wilfong has 419 at bats, but is not rated for splits. So I don't know how few at bats he had against lefties or what he did against lefties, but you can still use him against lefties. Now, what I'll do, if I have to use him against lefties, I'll probably make his home run a 0. I'll do some homebrew to change it a little bit, but it just would have been, to me, anybody with over 400 bats ought to have splits. Even if he had 2 at bats against lefties, they ought to be counted. There should be some reduction to do this, is just all I'm saying. But again, can't have everything. So, but that's the only ding I got against the game. That means it's a pretty good game. All right, here's Frost, 5-3, and that is going to be another ballpark. We're going to Metropolitan Stadium like it's nobody's business. 4-5, and that is a pop-up to the catcher. So Brian Downey will haul it in. 1 away. And here is Kenny Landreau. Frost, 6-5, and that is a strikeout chance. Landreau is a 9, and he will strike out. 2 down. For Glenn Adams. 4-6, that's a hit by pitch chance. He's a 6. 0 from Frost. 1-6, he's hit by a pitch. He is not, so Adams will swing it. 1-3, grounds it to first, and Willie Mays Aikens will take it to the bag himself. It's another quick little 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Frost. And we played 6 innings here at Metropolitan Stadium with the score still 2-1. That has held up. Those 2 runs from Minnesota have held up through the first 6 innings. And now for the Angels, we have Downing, Rudy, and Grich coming up. 4-1, that's a wild, so it's a blank, so we go straight to the batter card. 2-2, it's a pop to third, and Castino will haul that in fair territory. 1 away for Joe Rudy. 3-1 is a walk chance. Rudy walks at an 8, but the stadium takes 1 away, makes it a 7. And no walk. Go to Rudy. 1-1, he's going to ground it to third. Castino right on it again. 2 quick outs for Bobby Grich. 2-6 is a strikeout chance. Grich is a 10. And he got him. Grich out on strikes. Another 1-2-3 inning for Goltz. And we go to the 7th inning stretch. Score still 2-1. That was the 26th batter faced by Goltz. He can face 30, so he's still in good shape. Frost can also face 30. Frost has only faced 22, so he's definitely in good shape. For the Twins, it'll be it's a good one. Just made the last. It'll be Jackson, Adams, and Smalley due up. 1-6 for Frost is a range play. 5-6 is a ground ball to second. We're checking the range of Bobby Grich. And Bobby Grich, his range is a 3. Very simple. 1-3, he gets to it. 4, 5, or 6, he doesn't. And he doesn't. Base hit Ron Jackson. Jackson's 2 for 3. He's got an attempt of 1. Nope, nothing happening on strategy. Here is Frost to Smalley. 6-1 is a blank. We go to Smalley. 4-6, that's a ground ball to second. Potential double play. He's a 2. Pitcher +1 is a 3. Halfway infield is a 4. Campaneris shortstop +1 makes it a 5. So 1-5, it's a double play. And we have another Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play, 4-6-3. Pitcher's best friend, 2 quick outs. And that'll bring up these guys get out of order somehow. I may have to redo that at bat because I think he batted out of order. It should have been Adams, not Smalley. So let's put Jackson back on first. We're going to have a redo here. Somehow they got out of order. I don't know how. Somehow they did. So Let's redo that. And you never see that on that other channel. Because he uses those little placeholder things, and I just, in his setup, and I just don't have that. So anyway, we're going to redo it with Glenn Adams and have the proper guy batting. All right, so Frost to Adams, 3-5, and that is a strikeout chance. He's only a 6. No strikeout. Here's Adams, 6-4, and that's a ground ball to first. So it's, again, another chance at a double play, but not as good. He's a 1. Pitcher's +1 makes it a 2. 0 for the first baseman. You don't get that plus when it's hit to first, but the pivoted short is a +1 in Campaneris. So we got a 1-3. And they don't turn it, just going to be a fielder's choice, and Glenn Adams will reach on the fielder's choice. So it's a 4-6 fielder's choice, not a double play. Sorry, Giovanni, you don't get that double play. You get the fielder's choice. All right, Glenn Adams on first, cannot go anywhere. Here's Frost to Smalley, 6-3, and that is a strikeout chance. It's a 10. And he struck him out. So Smalley is out of there. 2 down for Butch Weiniger. Frost, 4-5, and that's a single if he's tired, but he has not reached fatigue yet, so he treated it as a blank. Go to Weiniger. 3-5, and that is a ground ball to third, and that will end the inning. So nothing doing there. We go to the top of the 8th. Score still 2-1. Favor of the Twins. Make sure I get these players in the right order so I don't have this happen again. Al, Wilfong, Leandro, Goodwin, Jackson, Adam, Smalley. Yep, we're good to go now. So Goltz is out. He can face 30 batters. Right now he's faced 26. So he should be able to pitch through this inning without too much of a trouble of fatigue. That's what I said, Brian. You don't see them batting out over on that other channel because he uses those little player holders thingies or whatever. I haven't gotten the gist of using. Plus, the ones that came with the game I bought, those placeholder cards are very, very fragile and they don't really stand up very well. So it's kind of hard to use them because the cards are tipping over all the time. So kind of the main reason I got them was just for this board. That's the reason I did it. All right, Campaneris. Now we're in a chance now we can start pinch hitting because we're in the 8th inning and the Angels need some offense. So Bert Campaneris is actually going to be called back for a pinch hitter. And these are the guys available off the Angel bench to pinch hit. You got Rod Carew, obvious choice for a pinch hitter. You got Larry Harlow, maybe not so much of a choice. And then you got those, and then you also have Willie Davis from the left side. Then from the right side, you have Jim Anderson, you have Merv Retman, and you have Dickie Thon. So I think logically, if you're thinking about the manager doing whatever, we're going to have Rod Carew pinch hit, and we're going to have Jim Anderson come in and play shortstop. So that's the way they will play that. Carew to pinch hit with Anderson taking over at short. And Campaneris getting the rest of the game off. So Rod Carew, pinch hitting. He is a 318 or was a 318 hitter in 1979. Not sure why he didn't start this game. He just didn't for whatever reason. Golt 6-2 is a blank. We go to Carew. 3-3, and that's a single to second base. Or single right past second base, however you want to visualize it. Carew is aboard. He's got an attempt of 3. Not going to go anywhere. Here's Rick Miller. Goltz 5-1. That's the ballpark card. Going back to Metropolitan Stadium one more time. 1-6. And there it is again. Another triple. We hit that 1-6 twice on the ballpark card. And that's an RBI triple from Rick Miller that has tied the game. We are tied at 2 apiece on the triple by Rick Miller. He's actually a home run away from the cycle. He has single, doubled, and tripled. And we are tied at 2 apiece. And now the Twins bullpen, which is very limited. There's only 3 pitchers available in their bullpen. Gary Serum is available. Mike Baxick is available. And the closer, Mike Marshall, is available. That's it. That's all they have in the bullpen. No lefties. All right, Carney Lansford will bat. And they're going to play in, try to prevent Rick Miller from scoring, if at all possible. 1-1 is a strikeout. Lansford is an 11. Well, if he gets a strikeout, that's a good start. Doesn't get it, though. So Lansford will put the ball in play. 1-2. It's a double to right field, so it didn't matter about that. RBI double from Lansford. And the Angels take a 3-2 lead. Remember, they won this game 7-1. Real world did the Angels. That is batter number. Here comes batter number 30 right here. So in the bullpen, the Twins have Mike Baxick loosening in their bullpen. He would be coming in. Goltz will be tired on the next batter, not this batter, but the next one. 1-6 is a strikeout on Ford, 1 to an 11. No strikeout. Here's Ford. 4-1. That's a power result to left field. So 1 to 14, and he'll get himself a base hit of some sort. That's a 2. It's a base hit to left field. A single to left. We'll see if Lansford can score or not. Left fielder is Glenn Adams for the Twins. If you look at Glenn Adams, he's got a 0 arm. So we're simply checking the single to left on the chart. And to score from second, you add 1 to the rating. So he's a 4, he becomes a 5. So 1 to 5, he will score. And he does. So Lansford will score. And the Angels get another run across the plate. 3 runs in the inning. They now lead it 4-2. And I believe that's going to be all for Mr. Goltz. He just kind of faded away there in the 8th inning. He had 7 good innings and then faded away. So he's going to go 7+ innings, is Mr. Goltz. He's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits he allows. And now they're going to bring on Mike Baxick. So Mike Baxick, 4-2 with a 4.39 ERA and no saves from Mike Baxick. Baxick in relief can face 9 batters before he is tired, so he can go several innings if needed. He's got a 0 on his hold, so a 2 attempt for a Ford, and that's a 1. So Ford could go if he wanted to. He's a 12 +2 for the whole range of 14. Weiniger is a -2 arm, though, brings it down to a 12. So do they want to steal on a 1 to 12? Sure, they're playing with house money. Why not? And he's out. So try to get greedy, and he got caught stealing. But that's okay. They still lead at 4-2. They ain't feeling any pain. Here's Don Baylor. Baxick, 3-3. That's a possible error. 4-6. That's a fly to left. The error chance of Glenn Adams in left field, I believe, it's a 9. 1 to 9. But it has to be an odd number. And it's not. It's an odd number, but it's above 9. So he does not make the error. He makes the catch. 2 down. But Baxick had the kind of interesting situation where he got his first out without throwing a pitch, without a batter played the ball at play. It wasn't a strikeout or anything like that. It was a caught stealing was his first out. So that was kind of weird. Anyway, here's Willie Aikens, 6'3", range play. Aikens, 1-5, single to first, but it could be taken away. First baseman Ron Jackson, although I doubt his range is that great. It's a 3. It's average. So 1 to 3, he'll take the hit away. And he does. So how about that? Makes the play, flips to Baxick covering to end the inning. But 3 runs come in for the Halos. And they all of a sudden lead it 4-2 over the Twins. Baxick will come back and pitch the ninth. Now it's Frost. Frost is on, and Castino, Powell, and Wilfong are your scheduled hitters. On the bench for the Twins, in case you're curious who they have available, they have one lefty on the bench available, and that's Mike Covich. Everybody else is right-handed. You got pinch hitter extraordinaire Jose Morales. You got Bombo Rivera, one of the better names in baseball. Dave Edwards, Willie Norwood, Bob Randall, and backup catcher Glenn Borgman. Those are the guys available off the bench. So let's see. But all these guys are really good hitters coming up average-wise, so we're not going to pinch hit right now. That's for sure. Castino is batter number 27. He can face 30, so he should be good for this inning. Mr. Frost, 2-4, and that is a blank against a righty. Would have been a star line against a lefty, but against a righty, it's blank. 5-4 is a fly to center, and that's one away. One out. And here's Hoskin Powell. 6-6 is a walk chance. Powell walks at a 10. Less one from the stadium is a 9. And he will walk. So one out walk to Hoskin Powell. And we'll see if Powell. Nope, he doesn't get any kind of lead. Here's Wilfong. Frost, 4-6. That's a hit by pitch chance. He's a 3. 1-3 is a hit by pitch. He's not hit, so Wilfong will swing it. 1-6. He's going to fly it to right. 2 down. And now it's up to Ken Landreau. This is batter number 30 right here. So after this batter, he will be susceptible to the fatigue. 2-3, and that's a blank. We go to Landreau. 2-1. It's a ground ball to first, and that's going to do it. Akins will take it to the bag himself and end the inning. So if Frost does come back for the ninth, he will be fatigued. So we'll keep an eye on that. And check out the Angel bullpen as well. See who they have available. We go to the ninth, it's still 4-2. As we look ahead to the Angel bullpen, their available pitchers, they have 4 righties and 1 lefty. We got Mike Barlow. He's available. We got Chris Knapp. He's available. Steve Eddy. He's available. Mark Clear, one of their closers. He had 14 saves. And then Dave LaRoche, the left side, had 10 saves. So looking at either Clear or LaRoche as potential guys to come in and get a save. There were a lot of lefties coming up for the Twins, but good righties on the bench. So I think they might just go to Mark Clear if they need to go to anybody. Because if you bring the lefties, then you're going to pinch hitters. So probably not a good idea to do that. So Baxick out, and he'll be facing Downing, Rudy, and Grich here in the top of the ninth. It's a 3-2, and that's an automatic out on the star line. And the out will be a fly to right. One away. And that's Joe Rudy. And that's one of the few instances in this game where the only the pitcher was involved, not the batter. It's very rare that happens. Usually the batter gets his say most every at bat. The star line is one of the very few times that happens where he doesn't. Those are few and far between. 5-3 for Baxick, and that is a strikeout chance to Rudy. Strikeout is a 12. And he does strike him out. 2 down. 2 down for Bobby Grich. 6-3, and that is a range play. Ground ball to short. We're checking the shortstop. So 1-3, he'll get to this and end the inning. And he's not. So Rich will sneak it past. 2-out single. And that's going to bring in Jim Anderson for his first at bat. He came in when they pinch hit for Campaneris. Anderson, a 248 hitter. Nothing on the strategy roll. You don't even need a strategy roll because he can't go anywhere and there's no balks or pickoffs. So the strategy roll is not even needed. 3-3, possible error. Anderson, 2-4. That's a single to short, so it's no longer an error check. It's a speed check. His base running rating is a 2. So 1-2, he beats it out for an infield hit. 3-6, he grounds to short and the inning's over. And that's a 2. He's going to beat it out for an infield hit. Jim Anderson. So a couple of 2-out singles keeps the inning going. For Miller, if he hits a home run, he would hit for the cycle, but his home run chances are very, very slim. Baxic, 6-3 is a range play. We go to Miller. 4-6, that's a star 2, which is a ground ball to short. We're checking Smalley again. He again is a 3 on his range. And with 2 outs, he's playing back, so he keeps that 3 range. And he makes the play this time to end the inning. So Miller will have to settle for 3 hits, no cycle. And that'll do it for Baxic. Baxic actually is going to give up 2 hits. So he goes 2 innings and gives up 2 hits, no runs. And let's see here. All right. So we got coming up for the Twins here in the bottom of the 9th, last chance. And I won't steal RJL's line about 9th inning magic. That's his thing. Let's see. Do we bring out Frost when he's tired, or do we just go ahead and go to Clear? I think they're going to go ahead and just go to Mark Clear. I think it's what the manager would do in real world. So we're going to let Frost go 8 innings and cap him at that. And we bring in Mark Clear to try to get the save. So let's see what Frost did in his outing. He gave up 1, 2, 3, 4. I've only got him giving up 4 hits and the 2 runs. All that stuff happened in the first inning. 2 of those 4 hits were in the first inning. So from the 2nd inning to the 8th inning, the Twins were limited to just 2 hits. Mark Clear, 11-5, 14 saves, 3.63 ERA. He is in to save it. He'll be facing Goodwin, Jackson, and Adams. Now, Jackson, they could pinch hit with a lefty if they so chose. The only lefty they have on the bench is Covage. And he's a 276 hitter, whereas Jackson's 271. Jackson has much more power. We'll see if Goodwin gets on first or not. That could affect things. So here's Clear, 2-3, and that's a wild pitch with blank, so we go straight to Goodwin. 6-2, it's a liner to third. He hit it hard, but right to the third baseman, Lansford, for out number 1. And now we will get a pinch hitter for Ron Jackson. They're going to use Mike Covage to pinch hit for Ron Jackson. They want the lefty in there. So Covage, and he would stay in the game to play first base potentially if it goes extra innings. So Covage will pinch hit. He was a 276 hitter with 2 home runs in 243 at-bats. So Mark Clear facing the pinch hitter Covage. 2-5, and that's a possible error on a ground ball. 5-1, it's a liner to third, so no, second time in a row a batter is lined to third base. So obviously the error on the ground ball is irrelevant. And now that takes us to Glenn Adams, last chance for the Twins. 1-1 is a hit by pitch. He's a 6 plus a 3. 1-9 is a hit by pitch. And he plunks Glenn Adams. And that'll bring up Roy Smalley as the tying run at the plate. The pinch run for Adams just for the heck of it. We're going to have Bombo Rivera just because I want to get him in the game. Rivera is going to pinch run. He runs at a 3, a little bit better than Adams. So Rivera is going to pinch run for Glenn Adams. He's a 3 with a +2. That's a 20, so it's a chance that we got a balk, pickoff, or pickoff error. How would you like to have a walk-off pickoff? Has anybody ever had a walk-off pickoff in one of their replay games? I don't think I ever have. We have a chance at it right here. Or we get a 2, rather. Straight out 2. It's a 19, nothing's happening. So we go to clear, 6-5, and that's an automatic hit against the lefty. You look at the sheet here on clear, 6-5. Lefties is a single, righties would have been an out. But Smalley's a switch hitter batting left, so it's an S1. Rivera is a 3 with 2 outs. He runs as a 4. And on an S1 to get from first to third, you need a 4, and that's what he has. So Rivera will get to third with Smalley at first. And runners on the corners with 2 outs for Butch Weiniger, switch hitter again. What do you mean no strategy roll? Why wouldn't there be a strategy roll? You got to run to plate. I don't give a crap what the rules say. If the tying runs to the plate. All right, here is clear. Nothing happening. Yeah, 2-run game with guys at the plate. Tying runs to the plate. I'm rolling the strategy roll. I don't give a crap what the rule says. 5-4, and that is a walk. Chance, anyway. He walks at a 12, -1 from the stadium's an 11. That's a walk. It's going to load the bases for Hoskin Powell. And do we bring in LaRoche now? Because Clear has loaded the bases all of a sudden after getting the first 2 outs easily. We have loaded the bases. Now, the problem is if you bring a lefty, they're going to go to Jose Morales and pinch hit for Powell. So you got your choice. Do you have Clear against Powell, or do you bring in LaRoche and have him face Morales? Which is the lesser of the 2 evils here, is the question. Man, I think we're going to go ahead and stick with Clear. Clear to Powell, 3-2, and that is a pitcher result on a 3-2. But against the left-hander, it's a 1-8 single 1, which would tie the score. He does not. It's a 12, so it fails. We go to Powell. 1-5, it's a star 6, and that's going to be a ground ball to short to end the game. The Twins. Wait a minute. What's going on here? I got these guys out of order again. We have to redo that at bat. It should be John Castino, not Hoskin Powell. Castino is the number 9 hitter, not Powell. Got my score sheet. I should have caught that on my score sheet, and I didn't. Castino is the number 9 hitter after Weiniger, not Powell. Powell's way up here. Weiniger walked, so the next batter is actually Castino. So the game is not over yet. Game is not over. It's a redo because the wrong batter was at the plate. So John Castino is going to be at the plate. Clear to Castino. 5-6 strikeout chance. Castino's a 16, and there's the ball game. Now it's officially over, but it's going to end via a strikeout versus the grounder to short. So there is your final score. 4-2. Angels over the Twins. Angels beat the Twins 7-1 real world. Clear gets a very taxing save, you would say. So for the Twins, 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. For the Angels, 4 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. Winning pitcher was Frost. Losing pitcher was Goltz, and the save to Mark Clear. And the Twins leave them loaded. Twins leave them loaded. So, anyway, there you have it. NBC game of the week is in the books for August the 4th. Next Saturday, August 11th, in the 1979 date, we have the Pirates and the Phillies. That'll be the next matchup from Veterans Stadium on the NBC game of the week, sometime between 12:15 and 12:30. I'm not sure when it's going to be, whenever, just depends on what real life stuff is going on. But the good thing about this game is it is a fun game, and I enjoy playing it, especially when I pull it out once in a while. I don't know if it remains to be seen if I play this game in a season replay, a team replay, whether I would doing it every day, whether that would take away from the fun or not. I don't know. So anyway, that's it. 4-2, Angels win it. Mark Clear gave his manager probably a heart attack, but they were able to get by with it and end up getting the victory. So that's going to do it from here. Tonight, we'll be back in Globe Life Park in Texas for the next game between the Rockies and the Rangers. That'll be tonight around 9:15, 9:30, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then tomorrow, we'll have Sunday Basic Sunday from the 1962 season. Not sure what game I'm going to play yet. I haven't recorded it yet. I'll record it later today. I'll pick a game from the 1962 season on that Sunday date and pick one of the games and see who it's going to be. I believe last week was the Dodgers and the Giants, so maybe we'll go American League this week. We'll see. But that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great weekend, whatever you have planned. Also tomorrow, we'll have the final round of the Memorial Tournament, Jack Nicklaus's tournament from Ohio. Final round in that, final back nine, I should say, of the final round. We've already played the front nine, so we're all set up for the back nine. And that'll be sometime tomorrow as well. So that'll do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.